Good morning, President Hanich, Chairman Matthews, trustees, members of the Executive Cabinet, Christian brothers, faculty and staff members, distinguished guests, family members, and loved ones. And I extend a special greeting to my fellow LaSallians, the LaSalle University class of 2021. We made it. We've arrived at graduation at Lincoln Financial Field, of all places, to accept our degrees and enter the pantheon of Explorer alumni who have walked before us. I know the journeys we've had over the past few years have not been easy. There have been long nights in Connolly Library, grueling exams, and more Canvas discussion boards than we'd care to count. There have been times in which we've thought we just couldn't possibly go on. But amidst those difficult times, there have been equally momentous times of triumph. There have been buzzer-beater victories in Tom Gola Arena, hilarious and heartwarming productions in the Dan Rodden Theater, and nights out rocking the Casbah. There have been research projects published in academic journals, internships that have opened the door to careers, and those days in which you could just sit on the quad and soak up the sun. For as many potholes we've travailed, there have been stretches of smooth pavement, and all roads have led here to the conclusion of our LaSalle University journeys. But while today is certainly a day for looking back and reflecting upon all we've accomplished as students that has led us to this point in time, we must not forget that a commencement is also a beginning, an equally appropriate and necessary time to look forward to life beyond LaSalle University. So today, as we reminisce about some of the best years of our lives, we commit to setting out upon new journeys, influenced by our time at 20th and Olney. The words of St. John Baptist de La Salle crystallize this very point when, in one of his meditations, he says to each of us, God has called you to your ministry. What an apt way to describe today's festivities, a calling. Regardless of whether we are receiving an associate's, bachelor's, or graduate degree, whether our major is political science or public health, whether we are 22 or 52, as we accept our degrees today, we are taking the first step toward that calling we have each recognized, listened to, and accepted. Our time as explorers has prepared us for this very challenge, and if we draw upon all that we have learned both in and out of the classroom as we follow our callings, we will never waver. For those of us earning undergraduate degrees, I am confident that one of the most formative lessons we learned early on as explorers was imparted to us during Explorientation. That's when we first came to realize the three values that lie at the core of our LaSallian charism: faith, service, and community. For almost 3.5 centuries, these three seemingly simple words have served as life benchmarks for countless LaSallians the world over. And today, these words provide a fitting lens through which we can look back at the last few years and look forward to the many years yet to come. Our faith has certainly been challenged by the COVID-19 pandemic. This past year has brought more disruption, destruction, and disappointment than we'd care to witness in a lifetime. We missed out on internships, clinical experiences, practicums, and time in the lab. There are many times in which our faith needed a little boost. But amidst the chaos, watching professors step out of their comfort zones and experiment with new technology in an effort to continue our university's proud and enduring tradition of teaching and learning, hearing from university leadership about ongoing efforts to craft a return to campus plan and establish testing and tracing programs to ensure the safety of our community, and having a beloved professor or close friend check in to provide that extra layer of support, one could not help but be proud to be a LaSallian. Together and by association, we reaffirmed our faith in each other, in God, and in our Lasallian community. As we step out into the world as newly minted Explorer alumni, our faith will continue to be challenged, for the COVID-19 pandemic remains a threat. My hope is that we will continue to have faith in humanity, faith in our communities, and faith in science as we look forward to better days to come. I think we'd all agree that serving others has become synonymous with being a Lasallian. I am in awe at the work our class has accomplished in our time at 20th and Olney. Through focus programs such as Feed Philadelphia and neighborhood tutoring, we've worked with members of our historic Belfield community, the community we've learned to call home. Through our LIVE programs, we've traveled from Neary, Kenya to Tucker, Georgia, from Blackfeet, Montana to Harlan, Kentucky, bearing witness to societal injustice and committing to its eradication. And through it all, we have personified our founder's legacy and placed our Lasallian charism into action, offering up our time, talent, and treasure in pursuit of a better, more equitable, and more just world. Despite this work, the last year or so has revealed deep cracks in our society and the reality that great injustices remain. It is up to us, as Lasallians committed to an unyielding spirit of service, to continue the work we have done while students at LaSalle. Regardless of whether our career paths lead us to work in hospitals or high-rises, classrooms or courtrooms, regardless of whether we are called to be artists or accountants, professors or politicians, the degrees we've received today are an invitation to keep up the good fight, to continue in service to our neighbor, and to never forget the potential we all have to make a difference in the world in which we live. Our Lasallian community is what first drew many of us to 20th and Olney, and the bonds we've formed and the connections we've shared with each other, with our professors, with other staff and administration members, and with our Christian brothers are incomparable. In good times and in bad, we have remained bonded by our foundational Lasallian association. Indeed, over the past few years, our community has faced immense tragedy as we've suffered the loss of members of our own Lasallian family, including members of our own class. And although they are not physically with us today to walk with us on the final leg of our LaSalle journey, as we believe that we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of God, so too do we believe those explorers who have gone before us are always and everywhere in our midst, watching over us and walking beside us even now as we gather for one final time as the class of 2021. Many of us have emerged as leaders within our community over the past few years. We have stepped up and guided LaSalle toward greater and previously unimagined heights, forever emulating the leadership of our founder. We've certainly learned from our university's own leadership, chief among them President Hanich, who in a way is graduating with us today as she prepares to transition to Xavier University as its new president. President Hanich, I speak for the class of 2021 and the entire Lasallian community when I thank you for your impactful administration and wish you the best of luck in Cincinnati. May we continue to model the example you've set throughout our time at LaSalle. My friends and fellow members of the class of 2021, St. John Baptist de LaSalle wrote the first page of our collective Lasallian story 341 years ago. Today, as we look back and as we look forward, we have a responsibility to continue that Lasallian story. The paths we traveled individually and by association have been nothing short of remarkable. Through it all, we have remained committed to faith, service, and community, that tripartite guiding light that has never sent us astray. Remember, explorers are never lost, and I'm confident we will continue to embody that creed long after we have formally departed 20th and Olney. But if we are to ever lose our way, or if our life compasses should ever need a readjustment, we can always return to LaSalle University, our forever home away from home, to set us back on the right path. In the meantime, as we accept our degrees in just a moment, let us embrace the individual callings we have each answered and never stray from the values of faith, service, and community that are inextricably tied to who we are as LaSallians. Our world needs us now more than ever. Let's get to work. God bless LaSalle University, and congratulations to the class of 2021.